Hi, it's Abbey Dyer Eminette, female entrepreneur and success strategist, and welcome to another episode of the Lead with Positivity Vodcast. Every week, we bring in stories of female entrepreneurs that are showing it big in their communities and putting their ideas into action. Today, I want to welcome Sarai Shivana, and let's jump right in. Tell us a little about you and your business.
So I do quite a few things. I have a direct-to-consumer business through New Skin, which is an anti-aging and wellness company based out of Utah. So that really started my journey into entrepreneurship and becoming a business owner. So through that, through my learning lessons, and it's every day it's a learning lesson, through all that, I actually then founded a company this year, a few months ago, Platinum Powers, and that's a collaborative business culture. And that company really, actually the name and the whole company really was to umbrella everything that I do, because I'm involved in charity, I'm involved in New Skin, I do a lot of coaching. And I just needed like a house to put everything under one. It kind of evolved to that. So I started that company, but then I realized I didn't want to do it alone. And I wanted to co-collaborate with other businesses. And a lot of my direct selling business, I've done that also, right? With other people and other companies and other teams where I co-collaborate, or I coach them in identifying themselves as a brand through that vehicle, right? Because you are not the company. You have to take what you can from the company, create your business, but also people are not, they could just go directly to the company or somebody else. You have to be the brand, become a brand, and create your audience, create your market. And so I kind of work on that, identifying yourself as a brand, as a business owner, and what you want to do. You're not just somebody that says, hey, I'm Sarai, I sell whitening toothpaste for a living. That's one of my products. It was great.
Sure.
But it's a lot more than that. So
yeah. So tell us a little bit about what motivated you to, one, start in a skincare or health and beauty industry, as well as the larger coaching and collaboration.
Yeah. I had a very proud of my career in fashion and in retail management and in hospitality. And that was my life for such a long time. As a kid, I wanted to be a fashion designer. I said I would work on Fifth Avenue, I'd work at Gucci, all these things, and I made it happen. And I wanted that New York City, like what you see, life and lifestyle, and I achieved it. Yeah, and it was great, and it's awesome. But with that comes a lot of burnout too, and it's climbing that corporate ladder all the time. And I really just looked at everything over time, and I just was like, I wasn't fulfilled anymore. I wasn't passionate anymore about what I was doing, because you get paid so much money, but you're working crazy hours, right? This is the biggest time of of the season for a lot of us, working in a retail section, or sector in hospitality, but you get so burnt out, right? Where there's a Black Friday, or you only have Thanksgiving that day off. And, I don't have kids or a family like that I have to tend to. So I can't even imagine what it's like for people that actually have to do that. And that aside, I just kind of lost the drive in it. And a lot of that came because the people, the culture wasn't very healthy. And unfortunately, your top management and certain people that have to play this game, the politics, and I wasn't very good at that all the time. And I just could never seem to like rise up. I had a very, very successful salary and title, and very high up. But I just still could not like break that gap. And I was just like, what am I doing? And I remember one day I was working in a boutique in Soho, and it was like folding like $200 silk ties, whatever. And these girls walked into the store. I remember that day specifically, and I just looked out the window, and I was like, I was meant for more. I don't think I was meant to be on this earth to just sit here and look pretty and fold some ties, and
Yeah.
And I remember I would, style and I would dress all these women and men and great relationships. And I would look at that and I say, well, how do I become the person that's being dressed, right? How do I become that CEO or that person that has to wear the suit to go to this event and whatnot? But a few days actually, within that week, when I had said that out loud, and I'm a very big believer in God and the universe, and these girls walked into the boutique from Nashville, and I love a good accent, and I'm obsessed with like Southern people and all that, because I'm from the city. I don't know anything other than the city life, right? I get mesmerized when I see like tumbleweed floating and rolling about, and people are like, oh God. Right. So they walked in and we struck up a conversation, and I was like, well, what is it that you do? And they said, well, we're in town for a skincare conference, at the Hilton. Well, you should come with us, and then maybe you can take us out. And I said, yeah, that sounds great. And I went to them. I went to the conference with them, and I said, I looked at this room of all these people and all of these spa devices and all of this stuff, and I was like, this is insane. What is this? And she said, yeah, this is the company, you can become a brand affiliate with us and purchase the products at cost. But we have a business, we sell it online. And I was so ego driven with working in fashion and nightlife that I was like, I cannot sell whitening toothpaste. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
Sure.
right. So, but now it's like, when I talk and I give speeches and I present presentations, I always say this tube of toothpaste will change your life, because it has changed mine. It's just, don't sleep on the power of that. And fast forward, the company was restructuring. I got paid a severance, and it, the typical things that always happens. And I was like, okay, I don't really want to work at night anymore. I am getting older. I do want to make some money on the side. And I started to look into this world of direct selling and network marketing. And I was very new to it. I was very skeptical about it because we hear those horror stories, from the past. But I was presented with this company, New Skin, and then I was presented with another company. And when you're working in these high stress environments, your weight and your health takes a backseat totally. So I was always fluctuating, the 10 pounds here and there with weight. And I was like, okay, I really need to get trim. My friend introduced me to another company, and I signed on as a consultant, and I used the products, and it was great. I dropped the weight, and I still use the products to this day. But I looked at that business, and I looked at what you had to do to sustain a business and how it was built in the compensation plan. And I quickly realized that this was not what I wanted to do. So I did that company for about 90 days, and I went back to New Skin, and I looked at the company more. I looked at corporate, I looked at their financials. I looked, they're publicly traded on the stock market. They've been around for 30 something years. They haven't been as publicly acclaimed in North America yet. And because they've done so much pulling back and restructuring, they're huge in Asia and Europe, right? But I quickly saw how easy it was to actually make money with this company by sharing a post or sharing that, hey, I've been using this whitening toothpaste, and look at the before and after. It really does work. Especially someone that used to smoke. I used to smoke cigarettes like a pack a day. And my teeth became so white within 6 weeks. And through that, you start to share and you sell, and it's just like anything else, right? It's like, okay, I could sell the Gucci handbag and I would make a commission, or my team would make a commission. Why wouldn't I just sell a toothpaste and make a commission as well, or a retail profit? Like, what's the big deal? It's all mindset. It's all your framework. So that kind of just started 3 years ago as a product user, tapping my toes in the business a little bit here and there. And then COVID happened and completely killed the industries that I was in, hospitality and retail fashion, right? Especially for New York City. And it hit everywhere so hard, but I live in a city that it's a destination, especially now. People come here to see, to shop, right? To see, the Saks Fifth Avenue, the lights, and and then like the crooked Santas on the corner trying to get like all that kind of stuff. So when COVID happened, I kind of just said to myself, like, okay, 4 to 6 weeks into it, I was like, oh wow, we didn't really realize the severity that, here yet. But I had said to myself, well, where do if this stays as it is, but the industries don't come back, like, who am I without the title, without the salary, without the brand name behind me? Like, who am I as a person? Like, who do I want to be? Who do I want to, like, I didn't even know who I was at that point. I had no identity, and I was defined by my career in corporate America, which so many people are. And I'm so proud of that, right? But again, you take that away, who are you? So that's kind of how this whole thing unfolded, and it gave me the time and the resources to hire a life coach, get more into personal development, really figuring out who Sarai is without the scene or anything like that. So yeah, that year, last year, feels like such a long time ago, even though it was last year. But right?
Yeah,
I feel like it doesn't, it's so surreal, I think, now, in a way, where this was just last year, and then like November of 2019, we had no thought, even though it was happening in Europe, right? And in Asia and all in China, and it was starting to come over here. And, yeah, it's just so surreal. So last year was, I really dove into personal development. My life coach, the Tony Robbins life coach I hired, really helped. She was well worth it, worth the money. And yeah, she helped me figure out, certain things that I wanted to do and how to bridge those gaps. So
yeah. So as part of that process, tell me a little bit about kind of what's inspiring you, what's really important to you as you started doing all of that inside work, right? Instead of all the outside that you had been really focused on. What did you find that was really the inspiration to you?
I really started to like myself more. And I think a lot of people don't really know how to love themselves before they can really love anybody else. And it was a very hard, painful journey to go through, and uncovering and really looking at some ugly traits that I had, and mannerisms, and being honest with myself and saying, I don't want to be that person anymore. I don't want to be remembered that way. I don't want to come across like that anymore. However, I realized that I was the one that was projecting that image because I didn't like myself. So it wasn't people that instantly criticized or judged me or thought that about me, like, just off of nothing. I truly didn't know how to love myself and like myself, which from inward then projected outward, right? But I was blaming everybody else, like, I'm like, I'm a really nice person, but whatever, but then I was like, well, am I a really nice person? And then you start to uncover that and you're like, no, I really am, and be okay with saying that. So I wanted to just be more fulfilled and love myself more and learn to love myself so that I could attract that in life with people. And I quickly realized that part of the inspiration was that majority of the people that I hung out with were not the people for me. And that was long friendships. Really, some of it really, really hurt, because when you really start to work on yourself and you start to identify your truth and become more solid in who you are as a beautiful soul, people don't like that. Not all people, but the people that you thought would support you become the most critical people and want to keep you in a box. And I really opened my eyes to that, and how a lot of people, unfortunately, don't want other people to succeed. And I think that's really sad. And if I can be someone that can help change one person, which will then, it's a ripple effect, right? And we all do it together, then we can all slowly start to make some sort of wave in humanity, right? And just being kinder to others, and no judgment. And that's what keeps me inspired every day, because I don't even, I always say this, when I'm coaching, where I'm very honest with people. I said, you have to really make that decision if you're willing to be committed or not. Because if you're not, or you think you want to, let's use that. But it's not an easy process. It is like learning. First of all, you don't even remember what it was like when you were a child learning how to walk, right? You don't even remember that, right? But it really is unlearning everything and learning again how to walk in your effing 20s or 30s or 40s or whatever, however old you are, right? And that shit is hard because you have to really look at that. And some people just don't want to do that. And it's unfortunate and it's sad. And that's the moment, right, where you are dying and you're like, wow, I really wish I could have done it sooner, right? So I never wanted to be that. I never wanted to be in later on in life and just kind of look back and say, why didn't I change, or why didn't I help other people become the best versions of themselves?
Yeah, I like a couple of things that you said a lot. And one is, it really is necessary to unlearn some of the things that we have in our lives. And you're not necessarily surrounded by the right people as you start doing that internal work. That changes. And many people find that as they start working on themselves. And it's back to the, nobody's going to put on their tombstone that they wish they'd spent more time at work, right? Those are not the really important things in life. So if you think about one of your biggest wins, kind of changing from that corporate world that you were in into becoming an entrepreneur, what would you say is one of your biggest wins?
Evolving my mindset, for sure, because I was an executive employee in corporate America. And when you're in the position of title and power and responsible for, double to triple millions in business volume and working at flagship stores and stuff like that, you have to make the right decisions, obviously for the purpose and the better of the company, but you still have to report to somebody at the end of the day, right? I still had a VP to report to, a CEO, the Milan team and everything like that. And that is a mindset that you're still an employee at the end of the day, right? Regardless of your title. So when you step into being an entrepreneur, solopreneur, anything, starting your own business, you have to really show up for you. And that's one of the learning lessons, the hardest things, because if you don't show up to work, you're going to get fired at some point, right? You go through the channels and all the formalities, but then if you don't show up, you're going to get fired, right? But you're showing up also because you want to get your hourly rate, or you want to get your salary and all that, right? You made a commitment. But when you start your own business, you have to wake up and show up for you, right? And that's like the biggest, I see that is where a lot of people get stuck and they revert back to working for somebody else, right? Because waking up earlier and doing the things that you have to do in order to go out there and make some cold calls, or reach out to people and share what you're doing and recruit, or put your coaching program out there, it's scary, right? And you feel sometimes you're wanting to project that you're an expert in something when you have no idea what you're doing half the time. I had no idea what I was doing, and that was the ego, because I was such an executive, right? And that I should have known. How could I not know how to do this business, right? Like, how could I not know? Why was this so hard for me? Why was it so hard and all these other people are doing it and making it look easy? But it was the mindset that I had to learn in order to keep going and growing and attracting the right people to my business and all that. So I really help people now shift their mindset from an executive employee to an entrepreneur. And that is like, we do a lot of work. I do a lot of work with really reverse engineering your initial thoughts. We do a lot of submodality work and doing exercises to really flip your brain. You have to really condition your mind to show up for yourself every day and be the best version of you, not for anybody else, not for your family, for yourself. And I think, with parents, especially, I I really empathize because, and I say to men and women, you have to just do 3 things for yourself before anybody else in the house wakes up. Get up, take a 5-minute like meditation on YouTube, write something out for yourself about you that you love. Forget about your damn kids. I'm sorry. Like they, they take so much, and that's fine, right? And I think, and that's the reason I don't have children, is because I am selfish and I don't want to give my time to a child yet. I want to give my time to other things, but do 3 things for yourself. And then when you can say, I've done this for me and not for anybody else, before you have to play the role of a mom, a wife, a husband, a father, you feel so much more accomplished. It's a feeling that you get, and then you're better able to handle the day, and this doesn't happen overnight, by the way. And that's the other thing, right? This is adding and stacking little wins to help condition yourself into a bigger, better version of you, for you, so that you in turn by default become a better version to other people.
I think that's amazing advice. And as a female entrepreneur, you have to take self-care seriously, right?
You have to.
Because you are the only person, in many cases, many solopreneurs, running the business, right?
Yeah.
If it doesn't get done, it's because you didn't do it, right? Because you really do have all of that ownership as an entrepreneur. Yeah. So one last piece of advice that you would give a female entrepreneur.
So it's like a 2-part thing. I say to overall men and women, everybody, everything in time, right? Delayed gratification is probably the best 2 words I've been using the past year or so, right? Most recently, the past few weeks, because it's learning to appreciate the journey, not just the outcome of it, right? And what you learn through that journey is like the best thing. And for females entrepreneurs, just be nice. Just be nice to other females. Be nice, because I have worked in an industry, many industries, and I have seen women empowerment, but their teams have been so awful. And that is like one of the goals of mine, is to build up women, right? And really build them up, not just say it or stand for it, right? But like look in and say, well, why are you attacking this person, right? When you have no idea what they're going through, right? Just be nice to other people, get to know what's going on with them, because you have no idea what someone is going through, whether they have, the 50 Rolexes or the Cartier bracelets or whatever, or they just look perfect, like they should always be happy. You have absolutely no idea what's going on in that person's life. Or the mom who is like just trying to keep it up, and just get to the job, but like maybe it might be a few minutes late, understandable. Like it's the lack of just like, I think, empath sometimes with women, where they get threatened, and I can, women get threatened by other women. It's a true thing. They see someone younger, someone hotter, someone whatever, they're like, oh, like the insecurities come out. But why do the insecurities come out? Right? Why does this person trigger you? What is that? Look inward to then figure out what it is that's making you trigger, because it can't even, it's not even her. You don't even know who the fuck she is. Language, but like, you're right. And yeah, I really want to help other women empower each other and just really be kind to others. That's like one of my biggest goals. And that's a huge thing with our company, Platinum Powers, is like one of my biggest things as I build this company out with other people, is that I've wanted to co-collaborate with other coaches and entrepreneurs and bring them to the table. And I said, I want you to shine. I don't care if this client wants to sign up with you versus me and wants your what you have to offer, do it. If I can be that bridge to connect you as a great person to a great opportunity, let me be that. I'm not threatened at all. I want you to win, because I'm going to win no matter what. So yeah, that's my advice.
So here's what I love. What I heard and what I love is give other women some grace, right?
Yes.
You don't really know what's going on. And for the love of God, be kind to each other,
Yeah.
right? We really need to be supportive and lift each other up. So
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you took the time to be here.
Me too. I'm so
thank
excited.
you, everyone, for joining us for the Lead with Positivity Vodcast, where action-taking female entrepreneurs like this one are showing up big in their communities and telling their stories in only the way that they can. Thank you so much.
Thank you.